Ты вообще веришь в бой Чимаева и Макхачева?
Не верю. Не верю в этот бой, так как в следующий бой я не думаю, что Хамзат захочет спуститься. 7-7.
А ты бы кому отдал предпочтение в этом потенциальном бою?
Конечно, Хамзату. Там совсем другая антропометрия. Когда с Хамзатом борешься и с парнями, которыми на 77 килограмм, это вообще разные люди. Ну, как клещ вот так закрывает тебя. Но Ислам все равно 70-ник. Он с 70 килограмм боец. И по антропометрии, и по весу, и по всему. Сколько бы он сейчас там не пытался набрать, может быть, даже сыграет плохо в его сторону. Может быть, он наберет лишний вес, лишние килограммы, за которые может поплатиться в бою, что может быстрее устать.
Arman Tsarukyan has just shared his thoughts on the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev. On the other hand, Merab Dwalishvili mentioned he noticed Khamzat saying the fastest path to becoming pound-for-pound number one would be by facing Islam, but he doubts that fight could realistically happen since Khamzat competes at middleweight, and Islam has also mentioned possibly moving up. He said the UFC likely wouldn't support it, noting that if Islam wins the 145 belt soon, defending it later would delay divisions for over a year.
I saw Khamzat said easiest way to pound for pound number one is to fight Islam. How do you think that fight would play out?
Khamzat is in middleweight.
Well, I think Islam said before that he wants to go to middleweight.
I don't think this is possible. Think about from UFC perspective. Let's say I fight Corey Sahagan 6 months later. If I fight for the 145 belt, if I win this belt, then I need another 6 months to defend my belt. This is 1 year later in my weight class, and I need another 6 months to defend another belt. I'm holding divisions. That's why I don't think UFC would like to have this.
Moreover, Daniel Cormier shared Islam Makhachev's view, explaining that Islam has no interest in facing Khamzat Chimaev since he wishes to avoid any tension between their communities. Instead, Islam said his ideal fight would be against Ilia Topuria if he defeats Jack Della Maddalena and captures the welterweight title, proving that even after moving up, he still envisions a major clash connected to the 155-pound division.
Islam goes on and says, I don't want to fight Khamzat Chimaev. I don't want to open any door of conflict between our people. I beat Jack Della Maddalena. I would then want to fight Ilia Topuria. That's my preferred super fight. So Islam Makhachev goes and becomes the welterweight champion. His eyes are now set on Ilia Topuria at 155.
However, when Arman Tsarukyan was asked if a fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Islam Makhachev could happen, he said he didn't believe it. He explained that Khamzat likely wouldn't move down in weight. When asked who he would favor, Arman confidently picked Khamzat. He said the size and strength difference would be huge, with Chimaev controlling like a clamp. Islam is naturally a lightweight, and even if he bulks up, the extra weight could slow him down and hurt his effectiveness.
Ты вообще веришь в бой Чимаева и Макхачева?
Не верю. Не верю в этот бой, так как в следующий бой я не думаю, что Хамзат захочет спуститься. 7-7.
А ты бы кому отдал предпочтение в этом потенциальном бою?
Конечно, Хамзату. Там совсем другая антропометрия. Когда с Хамзатом борешься и с парнями, которыми на 77 килограмм, это вообще разные люди. Ну, как клещ вот так закрывает тебя. Но Ислам все равно 70-ник. Он с 70 килограмм боец. И по антропометрии, и по весу, и по всему. Сколько бы он сейчас там не пытался набрать, может быть, даже сыграет плохо в его сторону. Может быть, он наберет лишний вес, лишние килограммы, за которые может поплатиться в бою, что может быстрее устать.
Furthermore, Ali Abdulaziz dismissed any possibility of a fight between Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev, saying it doesn't make sense. He explained that Khamzat is too large to drop to welterweight and noted that the two fighters come from the same region and know each other. Abdulaziz added that Khamzat already has plenty of challenges in his own division and should focus on dominating it, emphasizing that defending his title will bring varied challenges from every opponent without the need to change weight classes.
Khamzat said that he'd be interested to potentially move back down to welterweight. And obviously Islam's moving up to welterweight. He's having this blockbuster fight with JDM. But have you thought about how big a Islam-Khamzat fight could potentially be? Super fight down the line, that would be massive.
And this will never happen. First of all, Khamzat is too big. I don't think he can ever make welterweight. They know each other. They're from the same region. These fights make absolutely no sense. Khamzat has so many contenders to clean out the division before even he thinking about moving to a different weight division. And I think he will defend his title, but and every guy's gonna bring a different challenge for him.
Pat Downey said that a fight between Islam Makhachev and Khamzat Chimaev would be intense, but he believes Khamzat would overpower Islam. He explained that Khamzat's size, reach, and physical advantage would make the matchup unfair, giving him the ability to dominate Makhachev from start to finish. Downey emphasized that the difference in scale and strength between the two fighters would likely prevent Islam from implementing his usual game plan effectively.
How do you think a match goes between Islam and Khamzat Chimaev?
Oh, because Islam's up at welterweight. Khamzat would go down? Oh man, that'd be crazy. Khamzat will smash Islam. He's way too big. He's way too long. Oh my god, it'd be unfair. I think he bullies him.
However, Islam Makhachev is solely focused on his upcoming fight against Jack Della Maddalena. On the other hand, Jack Della Maddalena warned that he plans to go all out against Islam Makhachev at UFC 322, saying his dream outcome would be to score a finish at Madison Square Garden, take out the pound-for-pound number one, and deliver a statement performance that shakes the lightweight division.
Finishing this one? I'm going to go for it. I would love, obviously, that'd be the best case scenario, get the finish. I can see it happening. I can see it blowing the roof off MSG, taking out pound for pound number one with no doubts, finish would be the dream.
Moreover, Gilbert Burns supported Islam Makhachev's choice to move up in weight, saying the cut to 155 pounds had become too taxing. He praised Islam as one of the sport's most skilled fighters, but acknowledged that Jack Della Maddalena would present significant challenges. Burns also noted Jack's access to elite training partners like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski, explaining that this could make the fight far more competitive than many anticipate, adding an extra layer of difficulty for Makhachev despite his talent and experience.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proven himself. He's number one pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think, and JDM has a clear shot.
Furthermore, Israel Adesanya expressed confidence in Jack Della Madalena's chances, highlighting his size, power, and relentless pace during scrambles. He explained that Jack's aggressive pressure in striking exchanges and strong physical presence could gradually wear Islam Makhachev down, particularly if Makhachev successfully defends takedowns and is forced to fight primarily on the feet. Adesanya suggested that Della Maddalena's combination of strength and constant forward pressure could create opportunities to challenge Makhachev over the course of the fight.
I think Della is going to get it done. I feel from talking to Tim and also seeing Della, and also I've only sparred Della once, like not really hard crazy, but and I didn't try and take him down at all, but I've seen him at your gym sparring, and his scrambles are crazy.
Yeah, he's
even watching him with Bilal as well and Gilbert Burns, his scrambles are crazy, and I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him, because when he puts some things on him, he's like, I'm standing with this guy, I have to take him down. And then he tries, gets him down, and he gets back up, or he couldn't get him down, because he's a big dude. People don't realize how big Della is as well. He's solid. So I really
dense, man, just dense.
Dense, yeah. Like when I felt, like I said, we're sparring, and then it's just a weight behind it, and the way he throws it, the body banging, man. Good.
Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley described Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena as a high-level matchup, but said a future fight between Makhachev and Ilia Topuria would create even more excitement. He praised Islam's win over Bilal Muhammad for raising anticipation for the Della Maddalena fight, and noted that if Jack can defend takedowns effectively and land clean strikes, the bout could quickly shift in his favor. O'Malley emphasized that Della Maddalena's skills and strategy could make the fight highly competitive, despite Makhachev's dominance.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Bilal was very impressive, made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt.
Who give him back? Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilya versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
Furthermore, Renato Moicano gave his take on a possible clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, saying the matchup should be viewed as even. He acknowledged Makhachev's elite grappling and physicality at lightweight, but noted that stepping into welterweight brings a new set of difficulties. Moicano explained that Islam would need time to properly add size, build strength, and adapt to the punching power of bigger opponents. For that reason, he argued that it makes sense to treat the fight as a balanced contest rather than giving a clear edge to either sides.
So Islam versus JDM, I think they probably should be even, you know, because even though Islam is a good grappler, he's big for 155. He's moving to 170. We never know, you know. I think he needs to take some time to work on to gain weight, to gain power, you know, to gain strength. So that's why the odds are even, and I think they should be even.
Moreover, Javier Mendez commented on the potential matchup, saying it's hard to tell if Jack Della Maddalena would be the toughest challenge of Islam Makhachev's career, but confirmed that Islam is eager for the fight. He praised Makhachev's elite skills and relentless work ethic, while noting that Della Maddalena would be facing a level of competition he hasn't yet experienced. Mendez also suggested that moving to welterweight could suit Islam perfectly, as he would no longer be conceding size and could bring his full strength and intensity to the division.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam's a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either, so he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
However, Craig Jones said Islam Makhachev could be facing one of the toughest challenges of his career. He referenced Islam's first fight with Alexander Volkanovski, which exposed some weaknesses when dealing with an elite scrambler. Jones explained that Jack Della Maddalena presents an even greater test due to his unorthodox grappling and ability to break grips unpredictably, making it difficult for opponents to prepare. According to Jones, Della Maddalena's style adds a new level of challenge that could push Islam to his limits.
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like, obviously he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Belal struggled with. Belal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well.
Additionally, Craig added that Jack's creativity makes him far less predictable than fighters who stick to rigid game plans, such as Belal Muhammad. He explained that Jack's physical size could also throw opponents off, adding another layer of difficulty. In his view, the matchup has all the makings of a thrilling, stand-up focused contest, exactly the type of fight the UFC would be eager to put front and center.
But in terms of creativity in what Belal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that. So I think like Islam, the size difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help them out, even though potentially enemies.
So you feel confident about this one?
Yeah, very, very confident for this one.
Furthermore, Robert Whittaker acknowledged he has a clear preference, but he still believes Jack Della Maddalena has the tools to challenge Islam Makhachev. He highlighted Jack's physical frame, underrated grappling abilities, and unorthodox striking as elements that could give Islam trouble. Whittaker noted that taking Jack down wouldn't be easy and emphasized how his precise punches, powerful body shots, and capacity to strike effectively from difficult positions could pose serious problems for Makhachev during the fight.
Why does he beat Islam in your opinion?
I'm biased as heck.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see the fight playing out very much like it did with Volk, okay? But Jack's bigger. Jack's he's a little bigger. He's got a different frame. He's a hard dude to try and hold down. And I think his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. He has good jiu-jitsu, which means it won't be free. The takedowns won't be free. Being on top of him won't be free. Not to mention, Jack has really good hands, and if he can keep it into that mid-range, into that distance that he likes, make it awkward. He's very good at not only punching straight lines, but punching up. So his hooks, his uppercuts, he mixes it really well. He works the body, which makes it harder to shoot on. You know, I think there's enough angles there to give Islam trouble.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen questioned whether Islam Makhachev would stay in the welterweight division for another title run if he loses to Jack Della Maddalena or returns to lightweight. He cited fighters like Ilia Topuria and Islam as examples of athletes primarily motivated by the pursuit of a championship. Sonnen emphasized that in mixed martial arts, the ultimate drive for competitors is winning and defending titles, showing that chasing the belt often outweighs other considerations, including weight class or personal preference.
If he loses to Jack, does he get right back in the mix at 170? Works his way back to that title shot. Is that what he does, or does he cut his weight back down to 155 pounds? Whether it was Ilia, what he's going through now, what it is Islam in the announcement that we just got, what I'm attempting to prove to you is there is nothing in this sport that matters more to the fighters than the weight.
However, Dustin Poirier said that the first few minutes of the fight could determine the outcome. He believes that if Islam Makhachev secures early takedowns, he can control the fight. However, if Jack Della Maddalena defends them successfully, Poirier thinks Jack's reach and powerful strikes could dominate. He also noted that Islam's striking can appear unusual because opponents are always preparing for takedowns, which affects how they react and gives Della Maddalena opportunities to capitalize in stand-up exchanges.
Do you think he beats Jack Della Maddalena?
I think we'll find out first, second round how much trouble he has getting him down. I think if he gets those takedowns, he's gonna get the win. If Jack can stop those takedowns, which he does have good takedown defense, I think the boxing and the size could wear on Islam and give him some problems. But his striking's, awkward and different. You have to worry so much about the takedown. You can't plant your feet and throw off those number combinations and really rip and sit on your punches because he's going to change levels. So it changes the way you fight. For me, it did. I'm speaking from experience. So we'll see how Jack approaches and how Jack executes out there. But if you're worried about takedowns, your shots are different. You're not sitting on everything and standing in front of the guy. You're trying to move and be light on your feet. I think the first 2 rounds will tell us how this fight's going to go.
Furthermore, Bilal Muhammad shared his thoughts, imagining Islam Makhachev taking Jack Della Maddalena down, highlighting Makhachev's elite grappling. He recalled his own fight with Jack, noting that he had to fully commit to secure takedowns. Bilal also praised Islam's team, describing them as experts in developing precise strategies and executing them flawlessly, emphasizing that their preparation and tactical approach gave Makhachev a significant advantage in controlling the fight on the ground.
How do you think Islam versus JDM goes down? Honestly, I think Islam probably take it down. Islam's wrestling really good. Even with me, I really committed to it. I took it down. Their team's so good at hacking it, game plan and sticking to it.
Moreover, Ian Gary admitted that forecasting the fight's outcome is difficult. He praised Islam Makhachev's well-rounded skill set, but noted that moving up a weight class introduces added uncertainty. Gary highlighted that Jack Della Maddalena is naturally bigger than Alexander Volkanovski, while still possessing strong takedown defense and elite striking, which could create significant challenges for Islam despite him being the favorite. He emphasized that Della Maddalena's size and versatile abilities make the matchup far from straightforward, ensuring it could be a competitive and unpredictable contest.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size matters. When you're talking about an extra 15 pounds, when you look at the size of Volkanovski versus Jack Della Maddalena, there's a big size discrepancy. And Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part. Even on the ground, I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about the matchup? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.